In Gundam Evolution, the Sazabi and the Melee Zaku both have very solid room clear ults.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Final Show Films. I am Sen, your executive producer, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. I particularly want to thank our $20 tier supporters, Trevian Alexander, Samantha Bates, Cat Waterflame, and Elle, without whom we won't be able to do nearly as much of all the things that we like. So thank you all very much for assisting us and providing us with some amount of income over the years. And those of you that are watching live, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're live and a little messed up because one of our players joined us right after I had turned on the stream, so I have to re-aim all the cameras. You can guess which one it is by the one that is a empty void. But while I'm fixing cameras,
I didn't think they were able to analyze my emotional state across the internet.
You can't steal my joke, Jack.
Called dibs like it. I was about to make
Like a Mexican wrestler, and you're a vampire.
But in the meantime, while we're fixing cameras, I am joined this week by Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara. I'm playing Titania Valkorian, Archdruid of the Grim Harvest, and Eladrin. Yep, I think that's everything.
I love how I never know what order you're going to say the things in every week. It's great.
Yep. Me either.
I'm also joined by Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Vespia. She is a tiefling chandler.
And Johnny.
Hi, I'm Shani, and I'm playing Valdez Stonebeard, the Dwarven Samurai.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Sin, Changeling Warlock. Nano boost me.
See, you said that. You said that in such a way that all I can think of is "Nano Boost Me, Daddy," and that's just.
I
weird.
really wanted to say it, but it just it doesn't work with Anna, and for some reason, "Nano Boost Me, Mommy" just didn't sound right in my head.
Nano Boost Me, Molly. Yeah. I'm also joined by Dakota.
Hi, I'm Dakota. I'm playing Ithram Babalar, Hobgoblin War Wizard. The reason that all the cameras are fuckled.
And Jack.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jack. I'm playing Gent Minar, half-elf, spellslinger Triggermancer. And definitely looking at our current surroundings and hopefully not seeing his future.
Is this just your intro method now? You just that's just how you do your
I
intro?
have literally no idea what you're talking about.
Yes!
I didn't see
Even
anything,
better!
so as far as I'm concerned, nothing happened.
Does this make anyone else want to hit him with a mallet, like whack-a-mole?
No! I mean, yeah, okay, yes, but no. Because that might make him
I feel
stop.
like that's generally kind of an impulse that most people have just encountering me on a daily basis. So
Just hit you with a mallet.
Don't want to have negative reinforcement to this glorious, glorious thing.
Actually, that would be positive punishment. Negative reinforcement would be trying to get me to do something by taking something unpleasant away.
Thanks.
Wouldn't that be taking something pleasant away rather than unpleasant?
No. That would be negative punishment. Would be taking away something that is pleasant.
Yep.
Hi, there's some academics
Psychology.
in the room.
My statement stands unaltered.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The last thing I have in my notes is that Sin is a canary, and I don't remember exactly where I left off.
So you're I feel like
That's right, I'm a canary.
Yeah.
the more press there's actually a few different ways that negative reinforcement works, but the more prescient and common version is you respond by avoiding a negative outcome, which is to say that the negative outcome is still there and you want to avoid it, which is why you don't do that. rather than
Negative.
somebody
different-
going. "I'm
Negative
taking
means
this
something
bad
is
thing away."
removed from the situation. Positive means something is added to the
Added.
situation.
So
Punishment means a negative thing is either taken away or added. Reinforcement means a
Yeah.
positive thing is either taken away or
Yeah.
Hey Ma, I'm a boy.
I'm just looking at this thing where it says. Anyways, so
Now
when
that
last,
we've driven half of our viewers away,
yes, that's our
Oh, so there's only one other person here now?
that's our brand.
our brand. Look.
Oh, you're watching us? Let us fix that.
Soon we'll at least watch showing off Twitch. We're just preparing for our shift over to whatever that other site was. When last we left off, yes, Sin was a canary, a giant canary, and to rebrand a sentence that I said at the end of last week, was told in their mind by their connection, Morath, that they were currently flying through the remains of a moribund god. Or, in other terms, the remains of a not fully formed, dying / dead god.
it's a failed Kickstarter.
Quack!
Which yes, in response to which Sin did begin to
Panicked squawk.
squawk in a panicked manner.
Having
Whoever
been
did the
polymorphed
carpet in this
into a
place.
canary.
So yes, I believe I had a series of dexterity rolls at the end of the last session. Several of you ended up crashing into meat, as you are currently trying and not succeeding yet at passing through a fecundity of flesh and teeth.
These are words that you keep using.
Yes, flesh and teeth is the word I keep using.
I can put up thesaurus in another tab too.
I don't have a thesaurus pulled up. I just pull words out of my brain.
Oh, the level of sass we have tonight is I'm living for this.
Same level as we have every night, Pinky.
No, I feel like there's a little more tonight.
So, what are you all doing as you're crashing into meat?
Not crashing into meat.
Same, actually.
Also not crashing through meat, just running through the world's grossest bounce house.
Yeah.
Right.
Vespia definitely did crash into me.
Yep. Must be a crash into meat. So did Titania, but managed to hold a grip on the scythe that's keeping Valdeth flying.
Yep. Success.
Valdeth is currently having zero control over where she ends up going right now.
Yep. So again, what are you all doing right now? What's your next move at trying to navigate through?
Gent's gonna burn his last banishment bullet. And he's going to he'll use focus fire on this thing, so it'll be a charisma save at disadvantage against a 19. And he'll have 4 of those left. No worries.
Valdeth is feeling being the only marshal in the room right now.
Okay. Sorry. Charisma save. I'm a little distracted. I'm not even in the Roll20 game. Wow.
Quick, everybody move to the other side of the dead god.
Maybe you won't notice.
Sorry, I was ordering food. Several things happened.
Still hasn't. We have time.
Okay.
Can't select the token.
Oh,
Can't find my token.
Well, we don't have individuals. We just
Yeah.
have like the group.
We just
Okay.
have
One.
scuzz.
Yeah, representing our
I-
group as is right.
Yes.
as
I
is
mean, that's an
traditional.
accurate for.
Uh-huh.
I, for my part,
what's
am
the DC?
continuing to fly.
19 at a disadvantage.
Succeeds. So it does not disappear.
Son of a bitch. Well, that was my last one of those.
Curse.
Banish. So with that, is anyone else going to try to banish it?
I'll try to banish it.
All right. What ability are you using to try to banish it?
Banishment spell.
What's
Classic.
your saving DC?
Classic.
20.
That is, banishment is typically the spell that you use to banish things.
Yes, but there's also banishing smite and banishing.
I was gonna
Death in
say-
this particular case, and also a few other.
I mean, it's still banishment coming from coming from Ghent.
Coming from the card game Gwent, banishment. Failed on that one, so it disappears once more.
Ah,
Then
Quack,
Vespia is
quack,
going
quack.
to get up and start flying again.
Into fly once again. I forget again. What's the time limit on banishment?
A minute.
A
A
minute.
minute.
I had just kept
This is
on
when you
going.
lie and tell him 10 minutes.
I believe that I am carrying Scuzz with me.
Sure.
I believe that was.
Oh.
I was carrying somebody for sure
I
last.
was so distracted.
It was definitely Scuzz,
I
yes.
was so distracted that I did forget. Black
Yes,
Lives
the
Matter.
stream is powered by Sirenscape.
Black Lives Matter, trans rights and human rights, and also the stream
Oh.
is powered by Sirenscape. Speaking of which,
Well,
here's
it's
some
not
music.
yet. Now it is.
Um,
The power was out until this moment.
so, 10 minutes. What was it? 1 minute?
1
One.
minute.
One minute?
Eight hours.
minute.
All right. So
Yeah,
yeah,
8
so
hours.
you have 10 rounds to continue running. I'm assuming you're all continue running. Is there anything I want to do while you're continuing to run towards the door to the northern to the temple district, while you're in the scholars, or to the temple hub while you're in the scholar hub, which also, by the way, was one of the places that it might have been that you're just.
I
slowly
have
going
an
through.
intelligence of 2. Therefore, I think that's right. Possibly 4. No, 2. So I am single-minded. I am just flying full speed for as long as it takes. Or until I get knocked out of giant canary form.
Or until they see a mosquito.
Okay.
Weirdly, my wisdom is not much lower as a giant canary than it is as a changeling.
Gen is just looking around to see if when this thing reverts to being present in this space, if he can pick out any buildings or shelter or anywhere we might be able to take a break, get cover if we can't make it all the way across this space.
Yeah, you will
For
not make it
reference,
across the
by-
space in this minute. So.
For reference, by the way, my fly speed
Mhm.
is 60 feet
Mhm.
as a canary. So in one round, I can cover 1,200 feet.
You mean 120 feet?
Or I'm sorry, 1 minute.
Yeah.
In 1 minute, yeah.
Total,
minute.
total. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
1 minute.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, you're like you and Grubbin
Yeah.
and what's your flight speed?
Good question. Let me see. Broom of flying. Hang on, I gotta find
All
the
the cameras
stupid
fixed.
dang
While
page.
I'm gonna make sure that our food got picked up from the front door, so bear back while you're looking at that.
Okay, all right.
Like I
Also,
say,
if anyone wants to have any
the-
desperate
I
telepathic
thought it was just the
conversations
same.
while you're flying.
Broom.
I think a broom is like 50 feet per. It has a speed of like 50 or something.
It
50
is,
or
yeah,
60.
50 feet.
Yeah, 50 feet. You're speedy
Uh-huh.
as fuck. Not quite
Yeah.
as fast as the canary, but pretty darn fast.
Yep.
1,000 feet per minute.
I don't think
Hmm.
that's quite correct.
If
You
you
do
dash,
600.
50 plus another action is 100. And
No.
there's 10 of those rounds. So
So
1,000.
again, are you on the ground running
Oh.
with me?
Yeah.
No, he's got the Mage King's boots, so he's up in the air flying at the same speed that he usually runs.
Okay. Give me a perception check, Gent.
Visual.
Yes.
Cool. It's a 17.
Yes, Mara?
Yeah. So the thing is that the broom has a fly speed of 50 feet, but I have a fly speed of 30 feet. So we are going the 30 feet speed because we can't go faster than I can fly because I have to hang on to the thing, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, unless like the broom of flying is something that I can like set on ahead, in which case I probably would try to do that. But
I mean, yeah, you can sit on it and ride, and you could probably both sit
No.
on it. It's long enough. It's a scythe.
well-
It's as tall as you, so it definitely has room for both of you to sit on it.
its flying speed becomes 30 feet while carrying over 200 pounds. I'm looking at the card.
Oh,
in
so then yeah, it would be
TDB
30
armor
feet
now,
regardless.
so I would not be able to. But I can send the broom to travel alone to a destination within 1 mile of you. So can I send Valdeth forward at this point? I don't have to have a hand on it at all times, according to this.
Yeah, you don't have to have a hand on it at all times, but Valdeth can't fly it because Valdeth isn't attuned to it.
Yeah, so if
Okay.
you send it in a direction, it's going to fly on its own with Valdeth having zero control over
Exactly. Like you could, yeah, you don't have to have it. That's why you have your hand on it, so that you can help Valdeth not run into
All right.
things.
Okay, all right, never mind. Then we're going 30 feet. We are not that fast because my wings have a
it.
limited speed.
600 feet in
Yep.
a minute then.
Sorry, I don't like this thing.
Okay,
I don't think any of us do, love.
so start flying at 30 feet per round. Sorry, with the 17. With the 17 Gent. With the 17 Gent, you do spot a few different buildings that you could potentially get inside of. Give me an insight check to see if you could sort of perfectly map whether or not that was where there was flesh covering.
I'm using an inspiration. 21. Much better.
Do you have keen mind again?
No.
Okay.
No one does.
Not in this group, I don't think.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, with 21, you're pretty certain that everything, like all the buildings in this space, are going to be covered in whatever that is, when, or at least partially in some degree. The one that that there are a few towers that you're seeing that you think might poke out, or at least not be fully covered.
Okay.
As soon as the bounce house disappears out from beneath his feet, he's going to spend the next minute furiously casting a spell because that's how long it takes.
Okay. But yeah, so yeah, you could indicate that if you wanted to, Gent.
Yeah. That'll go over the telepathic bond then, pointing out a couple towers out that, as far as he can recollect, were mostly clear of substance when it was present.
Are we
We
fighting
want to
this
try and
thing?
get up there. I don't know if we can do it in a sustained marathon across this entire space. If we need to get a breather and reevaluate, that would probably be our safest location.
All right, get up there.
Because
All right. What are you casting over the course of the minute? Ithram?
summon Draconic Spirit.
There you go.
All right.
Takes a minute to cast. He's gonna pull out his ruby dragon, and then he's gonna summon Ildrit,
Okay.
which is a red dragon.
All right. So.
And do the cool jump in midair, and then it summons underneath them and flies into the sunset. Except it's a dome.
Okay, if that's the plan.
All right, so you all
Gens
so
will be angling
Go.
off towards that direction.
so Sin, your canary brain does hear the telepathic message, I think, but I don't know if you want to roll a wisdom save to see if you understand them or not, or someone else wants to roll an animal handling check.
Oh, I was just gonna do something.
Wait, what?
Don't you knock me out of this bird form.
No, I'm not going
What-
to.
what-
I'm gonna
what-
do something better.
What are you gonna
It's gonna
do?
be great. It's gonna go great. I'm gonna send Valdeth on. I'm gonna cause now that we have a direction to go, hopefully we can reach it before this thing comes back. I'm gonna turn into a canary. I'm gonna start yelling, "Hey! Safety! This way! Here!
Yoink!
Give me an animal handling check with advantage.
Thank you.
You're still yelling in common.
No, I'm a bird now. I'm gonna
I
just,
know.
I'm tweeting.
I mean, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to succeed or you're going to roll so poorly that I'm going to want to fight you and I'll chase you that way.
So yeah, so
24?
with the 24, yes, the message is conveyed across well enough. Even though Titania, even though Sin, this other giant canary is suspiciously smart, but they are able to convey the idea of safety. So you all head in that direction.
Yep.
Vespia, are you flying?
Mhm.
Okay. The minute ends. The flesh comes back. Ithram, you have a dragon now. What you doing?
That Ildrick can fly. So we're flying.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a just give me a dexterity check for the dragon.
Cool. It's plus.
Acrobatics, if it has it.
It does not.
Just a regular dragon, not
Excuse
a
me.
circus dragon.
Yeah.
Look, aerial acrobatics are not limited to circus dragons. You classist fuck.
I mean.
Wow, that escalated.
A 10. 10's good enough. So, yeah, so it manages to evade the odd structures that spontaneously appear that don't obey the laws of physics because everything's bad in this area. And you all managed to get into one of the towers on the central, sort of university structure within the Scholar Hub. The fleshy exterior does not seem to penetrate into this particular area that you're in. You find yourselves in what seems to be a sort of a multi-story laboratory of some kind. There are, alchemical setups that are long since run dry, cauldrons, bookshelves, all manner of research and study seems to have gone on in here. And most of the windows are closed. One of them is open. And you can see, while the tower isn't completely consumed, you can see that there is a bone tooth, like a jagged incisor, just hanging just to the side of that one window that's open that you sort of pass by as you're on your way in. But you are all inside.
All right, Gent's gonna look around and try and see if he can find anything, if there's anything useful nearby, just in case this shit starts getting more active or reactive.
Right, investigation check for me.
Okay. That's an 18.
19. Most of the alchemical reagents in this tower have long since run dry. It very obviously hasn't been upkept because anything that would have been here to upkeep it is gone. So yeah, you're not finding anything. There are basically the equipment to make an alchemy kit, but without any of the actual chemicals.
Just the tools, no reagents.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
But you can't find that. They're in fairly good condition.
All right. I think we need to reconsider especially if there's anything we can utilize or employ to try and narrow down exactly where it is we're trying to go right now.
I let Scuzz down and then I just perch somewhere.
How many hit points does a giant canary have?
26. A lot.
I mean, that's not that many.
A lot for like a giant canary. I was not expecting there to be that many. I took a look.
It's one of the highest CR
Yeah.
rating animals with flight.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I mean,
It was that or a pteranodon. And
it would be maybe 3 shots to get Sin back if we needed to. Is all I'm saying.
Well, I'm gonna go sit next to Sid and just sort of...
I will bite your fucking head off.
I've got a lot more than 26 hit points at this stage. And I'm guessing it doesn't have a super high armor class either.
12.
I'm pretty sure I can roll higher than a 1 most of the time.
But can you do enough to me before I run away out the door?
So that's why you lead with stun shot.
Anyways.
And then you keep using stun shot. But anyway.
Is that last?
That is a plan 7, plan 8 sort of step.
Oh, all right then.
So, you're all in tower.
Yep. Yen's gonna crack the door on the inside and see if there's anything dangerous out in the hallway or whatever's outside this immediate room we find ourselves in.
You can see that there are places in the building where the mortar in the wall is cracked, and bits of this mold-like flesh has sort of grown into the cracks, and is slowly subsuming the tower, but otherwise there doesn't seem to be much else in here.
It'd be very nice if we actually had the capacity to talk to the person who had the, first death, who might know about potentially ways to deal with this now that we've identified what the fuck it is.
I mean, y'all haven't identified what it is.
I was gonna say, I have no idea what this is.
Only Mora has.
Fair enough. Right, because the Sin was already a canary at that point.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think we know.
Morath and Canary Sin are the only one that know what this is.
Yeah.
Ithram was gonna have a guess before he had a roll, so I guess he doesn't know. But
No. If you have a guess, you have a guess. The roll was just to know if you as not you, and like any information that you might that your character might not have.
Okay, so yeah, Ithram has a guess, but
You can feel free to voice it.
yeah. I have an idea of what it is that we're currently traveling through.
Huh?
I've
It's
got some terrible suspicions myself, but go on.
It seems if I had to wager, this may be a possible consequence of failing in some way, shape, or form, whether through payment or wrong materials or any number of ways this ritual could go wrong. This may be one of many bad end results.
So I am trying to translate for Sin because we can all share this over the mind link, but Sin clearly cannot understand it because Sin is a bird, and I know a little bit about how polymorph
Actually,
works.
I don't legitimately know if I applied to the telepathic link anymore because you need to be able to understand a language for telepathy to work.
Yeah.
I may have been dropped out of the link.
Yeah. So I am attempting to translate into
Canaries can understand languages.
Okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm still attempting to translate it, probably very annoyingly.
Give me another animal handling check.
Okay.
Although I don't think Sin was ever in the telepathic bond because Sin has
That's
passive
true.
telepathy.
Yes, specifically.
If I still have advantage, that is natural 20.
I'll say yes because you were the canary previously.
So it is that was scary. How do we get out of this? All the squishy meat is probably from weird magic. And that's pretty much the gist of
and translate
if a canary could sigh,
they can right before they die.
Would. And
Cool.
drops back into Sin form.
Excellent.
Still sitting wherever they're perched, which is probably somewhere horribly unwieldy and like too high up for anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened when a god fucks up. When a god creation ritual fucks up.
I had suspected that we were looking at whatever remained of. As I search for the party notes for the name of that fucking dwarf who fucked everything up. Who says Deep Delver?
The term used specifically by Morath was moribund god.
At the point of death.
That's simply what he said. Hold on.
Can Morath come out and actually have a conversation?
No.
But it does.
I'm sorry. Let me clarify that.
Okay.
Yes, he probably could. No, I'm not going to let him. We have a very specific arrangement. He does not get control of my body in any situation, and I don't know of any other way that he would be able to communicate with everybody. I suppose.
What about that flamey skull bit? Couldn't that be a bit of a transitive interface?
Mora, can you talk through your mace skull?
No.
I didn't think so. No, unfortunately not.
Well, tell him to work on that. It seems like it'd be a very basic sort of addition. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Beyond moribund god, do you have any more information about this thing?
That's just what I've been able to piece together while looking through your eyes. That is some sort of failure of whatever divine ritual they were using to attempt to achieve apotheosis. It's not dead, but it is dying, and it was born that way.
It's not dead, it's just born dying.
That's an important distinction. The problem is, how do we get it across the finish line?
We take a short rest here. Sorry, we rest for a short time here.
The giant canary picks up the scythe.
Like in its beak?
Yeah.
I get my spells back. That gives me more banishings, and we continue on, I suppose. I can't think of a better option. I would, if we knew of a teleportation circle within the temple, I would happily do that. But
no, I wasn't saying getting across the finish line to the item. I was talking about how do we get the dying thing across the finishing line to death.
I don't care.
Ah!
And petting the giant canary's head at this point.
I've fluffed up all my feathers.
I frankly couldn't care less. One dwarf's fuck up is not my problem.
Unfortunately, it is, because I don't think we can really make decent progress by constantly trying to banish this thing. And it's going to be all over not only this section of the city, but the temple district as well. And we're going to have to keep trying to get through and around it, constantly hoping for a place to rest.
Do you have any guess of how much further we have to go?
Well, she pulls out the map of the city. There are two potential points that we might find this ritual, theoretically within the archives here in the Scholar Hub, or within the Grand Temple within the Temple Hub. John, how far are those? As he steps away.
I was going to say, absentee GM notwithstanding. Is Titania poofed up like Angry Bird or Cold Bird or
Stressed bird.
Stressed Bird?
So-
Okay.
Stressed bird.
The
yeah.
so the archives are in the basement of the university. You are currently in one of the spires. The
Of the university
of
or
the
like
university. Yes.
okay.
You're currently in one of the
Help
spires of
for
the university.
Twinkies.
The archives are in the basement. From what you can tell, the Grand Temple is in the sort of central right, like section of the. If you're looking at it on the map, central right section of the temple hub. So it's like against the back, as it were.
Discounting doors that we'd have to open and make our way through, how far of a distance is that to cover? How fast could we get there?
The map you have is very basic, so it's very rudimentary, I should say, and the scale
Yeah,
isn't
so
quite
it's like
accurate.
just calculating distances and how fast we can move, not counting in factors of doors and things
Yeah.
you have to go through.
The archive. I mean, obviously the archive is closer because you're in the university right now, but
Right.
taking a look out the window, you would estimate you're about 50 feet up from the ground. And then the tower itself is about, for the most part, is around 50 feet. Is about not 50 feet, about 30 feet, like wall to wall. So 30-foot tower, 30-foot wide or radius tower, or wide tower, whatever.
Yeah, like
whatever
the distance
up.
to the distance to the archive underneath our feet isn't what she's worried about. She's trying to calculate the distance to the temple.
Oh, to the temple.
Yeah.
With no obstacles, you're about, you would estimate, given the size of the previous districts, and that the map doesn't really show the relative size, probably another 5 hours or so of travel, depending on the speed.
So to cut through to the temple district would probably be another 5 hours, and that's assuming we don't get held up by anything like sealed doors, which we probably will. And to get down into the archives, which are directly beneath us, we'll have to go all the way down underneath this facility that is, as far as we can tell, infested with this thing, and then find what we're looking for in minute-long bursts.
Sen,
Yes.
can Ithram scour? So the main things in the contract were no extra dimensional spells that would let you escape the punishment for breaking this contract, correct?
Yes.
Since it is a contract upheld by where one of the parties was based in the Hells, would possibly plane shifting something to the Hells count as escaping the punishment, or is that something that
Have you
something
used
that
your
you'd have to-
have you used your intelligence save yet this day? For the
this day? I don't think so. All I have is I didn't break it up, but I had the first day it was the extra dimensional stuff, demiplane being okay, and then the parties involved.
There was a whole bunch you got in the second one. After today was so
Yeah,
late,
the second one was the parties involved, or no, what they were looking to do or get out of the contract, and then what the payment was. But
I think this is still the second day. Actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, so I think you've already
probably.
I think you've already used your int save. You imagine that information might still be in there, but you'd have to rest and think on it for a bit.
Okay. Yes, there is something we may be able to try. I have to think more on the contract and scour its details. But since one party is within the hells, it may be a loophole if this is indeed Houseth sending him to the sending what remains of him to the hells may not constitute as escaping or circumventing the punishment for breaking the contract. It may in fact be delivering.
Well, as far as we've seen previously, moving this, any attempts to plane shift that would break the contract are simply nullified. So, I mean, if you've got the spell available and you can try it, the worst that might happen is that it doesn't work.
Works
It
for
might
me.
might not work, and we might need something of that power later. I could just try it because the only fork I do have attuned, besides the one to this plane on the material, is a fork to the hells. But the issue would then be I must go with him. I can get back. I should be able to get back. There is no clause preventing entry, I believe. Just exit.
Well, in and out by teleportation, but you could, like, if nothing else, plane shift literally back to the door and come through, because nothing in the city nothing in the areas that we pass through should be trying to kill you anymore.
True, you would just not see me for a few hours.
That's a big. Those sound like big ifs. What
I mean,
if?
the most likely point of failure is that nothing happens.
Well, personally, I'm of the opinion that if there's archives in this building, or at least accessible from here, we should gather as much intelligence as we can. It's very helpful, Ithram, having that contract and agreement and all the legal matters in mind, but I'd be more interested in records of... Look, there's no point in us chasing this thing down all the way into the Temple District if there are records of their attempts here and tells us that, no, actually, the ritual is located somewhere entirely different, maybe even in this district itself.
Getting down into that archive is going to require going through this thing.
Parts of it,
Not
perhaps.
necessarily. How far down do we think it is?
It's underground.
That didn't answer my question.
The archives themselves, I haven't seen. We would have to go into the subterranean levels of this building, which is 50 feet plus however deep they've dug. But the walls are largely, not entirely, but largely intact. And we'll be exposing ourselves to far less of whatever these remains are by exploring inside than we would out.
Or, I believe I'm not the only person who can do this. We just dimension door 500 feet down and see where that takes us. Bypassing all of the potential threats, everything. Because if it's less than 200 feet, or if it's less than 500 feet, we just end up at the bottom.
Does Gent know if you can dimension door accidentally into solid objects?
You can't.
Okay.
Wait,
If you'd arrive in a place already occupied by an object or creature, you and any creature traveling with you each take 46
what the
force
fuck?
damage.
There
and
is a
spell
difference.
fails.
Okay, there is interesting because I'm seeing that, yes, but there's another. Must be a different spell.
I think there's a different teleport spell that, just takes you as far as it can go.
Yeah. Never mind. Ignore everything. What I just said, I did not say.
Okay. Roll that one back. But a bit of cautious interior exploration might get us more invaluable intelligence.
This is true.
Well, we can delve around here and see how far we can get before we run into this thing again.
I do have another thought. And I realize that this is not a great... This may very easily be shot down, and if it is, that's fine. But if being able to fly in a certain form, I'm assuming flying at maximum speed, I would potentially be able to get to the temple much quicker and determine if there is a teleportation circle there, get back, and then we'll just have an easy way there if it's there.
How are you going to get through the doors?
As long as it's not airtight.
They've
I should be
been
able to
pretty
get-
tight so far.
Like I said, it's not a perfect option, but in my mind it's better than fighting a failed but still god. If we
This-
die against this thing, then all of this is for nothing.
I don't want to. We've barely been able to even scratch the thing previously. I don't want to try and fight this thing until I know how, but I do want to see if I can find out how.
Fair.
That reminds me. Sen, we've seen this thing's basically physiology spread over a pretty significant area.
Correct.
But we've seen elements of it like, oh, there's teeth, there's an eyeball,
Yeah.
that sort of thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Have we seen repeats more than we would expect from a single body?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, there's
We've
been
definitely seen many mouths.
Go
There-
find the brain part.
there have been
Stab that.
significantly more teeth than
Okay.
you would expect.
Can Gent make some sort of roll to try and determine if this distributed physiology is likely or is showing any signs of having a vital spot of any sort based on what we've seen?
Make a medicine check.
Okay.
Also, is it brushing?
No.
No.
That's a 5. I'm guessing he doesn't know.
You're not that good at medicine in the first place, and
Not particularly.
especially not at trying to ascertain the vital situation of a what could best be described as a fungal god, but fungal as an attribute rather than fungal as a domain.
Species. Yeah.
Like- Honestly, you can't even tell. You can't even like the body parts don't make sense to each other. Like you can't make any sort of sense to where the body parts that you have been able to identify are in relation to each other.
Yeah.
Much less where a vital point.
Okay.
Is this thing considered a corpse?
No.
You cannot decompose.
Shoot. Listen, it was
Start an
described as dead.
infection.
No, it's described as near death.
As dying. Described
Yeah.
as dying.
It was
Not
created
dead,
it's created in a perpetual state of dying.
Correct.
All right. Well, all for exploring to the bottom.
You know the
All
phrase
right.
"live like you were dying"? It's doing it literally.
All right, let's see what we can find. If we can find anything of use.
All right, so the laboratory that you're in has one exit. The door leads to a staircase.
Yep.
Are you heading to that door?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, you head down the staircase.
The canary.
D Canary.
Pull up the Reaper Spirit again.
Do D Canary and Recloak.
Yep.
Right. So you all begin to head down the tower. As you go down in single file, because these stairs are fairly narrow.
Yep. I want to cast Pass Without Trace, so as we travel, we aren't.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if this thing like knows
Craig!
where we are.
Hey!
There's
anything.
N. Craig. There's N. Craig.
But it feels like a good idea.
Big.
Hey, got it in one. Yes, you cast Pass Without Trace.
Yep.
For Craig's edification, I know you were watching along a little bit, but you all decided to run up into a tower rather than you trying to run past everything, and have elected to investigate the archives in the basement of the university tower that you're in, the basement of the university in which you are in Aspire of, for anything that might be of use, and have also shared the information that this seems to be a god that was created incorrectly and thus is dying, and that it is the result of most likely it's the result of whatever happened that broke the law in the area and ruined everything forever.
Yes, and everybody was canaries because of last week, right?
Well, I mean,
No.
Sin was Canary, and Titania turned into a Canary.
Johnny
And talked to Sin,
canaried in solidarity.
but not everyone.
Okay, all right, fair.
Everyone is Canaries is a different game when I eventually get you all to play with the Red Wall character creation stuff that I've got.
Just absolutely fantastic. No notes. Continue. Thank you for the update.
But yeah, we're sneaking down Aspire single file at this point.
Yeah. Do you need me to make rolls?
No one needs to make a roll at the moment.
Okay.
So you walk quietly with the shadows tight around you, down this spiral stair. There are 4 doors that you pass on each floor as you go down, before you get to basically the bottom door, the fourth, the fourth of those doors. Do you do anything with the other doors as you pass them? You do note as you go down further, the flesh that has broken into the interior seems to get thicker and more more like cover more area.
Are any of the doors labeled or placarded or anything?
No.
Then Gen's not bothering with them right now. Yeah.
Right. Anyone else?
Further down.
Okay. Okay. Eventually, you get to the bottom of the tower with that 4th door. And at this point, the ground is covered in this material. Like you can't step off the stairs without stepping onto the flesh. The door is sort of ajar slightly, like it was burst off of its hinges and then somebody tried to put it back. Like it's not. It's just sort of sitting in the doorway, slightly askew, and you can see beyond it bits of writhing flesh in the hallway beyond.
Does it seem to entirely fill the hallway, like as far as we can see?
Can't tell. The floor of the tower is certainly covered in it, but
the floor meaning the level, or the floor meaning the surface?
You're at the bottom. You're at the bottom of the tower, and like if you if you were to step off the stairwell, off the stairs, onto the floor, that is covered in flesh.
Okay,
like a carpet.
Yes,
Got
like a carpet.
Like a potentially deadly carpet.
Flesh carpet is my Guar cover band.
Legit.
I do not remember what like spells we have done at this thing and what it seems. I don't remember if any
Acid
it
seemed to be the only thing that it reacted significantly effectively
Okay.
against.
It also reacted
Okay.
to force. Like it seems to
Yeah.
react.
Yeah, force damage and acid damage were the good ones.
Acid
that
was the
worked for us.
only non-elemental, like non-magical effect that it seemed to react to.
Okay.
The only magical effect you really tried was force.
I mean, we tried fire, but that
Well,
Yeah.
that was
magically.
physical fire.
No, I threw a firebolt at
Oh,
it.
you threw a firebolt at it?
Yeah,
Oh.
and then we got jabbed in the neck
Yeah.
because it was force damage
Oh.
and a firebolt.
Right. Yes. Yeah, no, magical attacks seem to damage it.
Okay.
Okay.
Non-magical fire does not. Sorry, I forgot about the actual, like, the quick little combat that you had afterwards.
Magical attacks,
Mhm.
but not magic weapons, apparently, because my sword did not do anything.
Well, it doesn't. It seems to. Yeah, it seems that it sort of bends with the magic weapons rather than cutting. You don't know what that's about. It might not be. It might be immune to magical weapons. It might not be immune to magical weapons, but have something else happening.
I
Really feeling that being a marshal right now.
can. This tower is made out of stone, right? The walls haven't all been covered.
Correct. It's made out of wood and stone, but yes, it is made out of stone.
Okay. All right.
Rock and stone.
I don't know what it looks like down there. Never mind. This is probably not a good idea. I don't want to touch it.
The
I-
bad idea right now is stab it.
Or just pour a lot of acid down there.
Does anyone have
Clear
the
it out.
ability to levitate, to maneuver without touching the ground?
I can
Without
fly.
needing...
I can fly.
Might be our safest option at this point.
Okay. Hop on. Hold up the scythe again.
I mean, the two of us can just ride on the thing. We don't need to move particularly fast.
That's true. Okay.
Ithram starts fiddling with the chronicle.
I'll lead the way in then.
How long does that take you to fiddle?
A minute. Everything's a minute.
Do you ask them to wait while you do that, or just?
No,
We live our lives minute by minute.
one
opposed to
quarter
a-
mile at a
That's
time.
as opposed to a quarter mile.
One spell slot at a time.
That's how I live my life. Anyways, so yeah,
Only 500. There's only 525,600 of those.
You fly into this broken door. I don't know what that reaction was to, Jeremy.
That's Jeremy's favorite musical.
It legitimately is.
All right.
I don't know why you sounded so angry then.
It wasn't angry. It was physically restraining myself
From singing the lyrics.
from singing that fucking song.
Take these broken doors and learn to fly again.
Anyways,
Now we're angry.
so you are you just pushing past the door? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'll see if I'm basic. I don't want to try and disturb it because, like, my thinking is we have finally got away from having to be in contact with this stuff. I don't really want to touch it, or like disturb it.
Well, so
Without pass, without trace.
So the door
Yep.
is the door is like laying in the doorway, Like
Okay.
it's vertical still. You can't get past it without interacting with the door. So how do you want to interact with the door?
Is the door wooden?
Yes.
Can I try and like decompose basically like a hole in the side so then we can fit through?
Even if you just, it's not large enough. It's a door made for dwarves. Even if you were to decompose part of the door, it's not. The doorway isn't wide enough for you to fly through without removing the door.
Okay.
You have to decompose the whole thing until it's ash or until it's rot. Like nothing but a pile of rot.
Yup. Okay.
But you could do that, but that would take a while.
I mean, I would try and do that.
All right. You sit there for like a few minutes, cast and decompose.
Yeah. So Ithram can finish his.
All right.
fiddling.
So Titania, you finish fiddling with your Ithram, you finish fiddling with your sphere while the rest of you watch Titania go decompose, 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 and this door just slowly folds in on itself, rotting away.
So he swapped out. Shit, what was it? He has Tensor's floating disc now.
Okay.
No. He has telekinesis. He swapped out Steel Wind Strike for telekinesis. He can just ritual cast Tensor's floating disc. So, so I can lift multiple people and move them throughout, or I can cast this spell multiple times. And I think he's cast it once before. I think he's used Tensors once, way back when.
Ooh.
But we could use this to avoid touching anything, if that is
yes, Tensors is not a concentration spell, so you can.
Nope.
I
could cast them. I could cast multiple Tensors discs.
I'm just reading to see if it disappears. It only disappears if you move more than 100 feet from it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
You can make a Tensor train.
First level spell slots, you could burn all of your spell slots and just make like a floor of Tensors floating discs.
I could make 3 and just have like a little like choo-choo behind me.
How do you think the lightning rail in Eberron got prototyped, you know?
Grumman slaps himself in the face and pulls out the Dragon's Hall and speaks the power word, and now we have a floating canoe.
As the Dragon's Hall.
There we go.
I forgot I had it. Sorry, y'all.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you're
Perfect. The door's open now.
How many people can the Dragon's Hall hold?
We figured this out before. I think it can
like
do like
something like 4.
4 people, yeah.
Sounds right.
And Sin is not a
As we
canary
just-
anymore.
Correct.
No.
It's the Hoarder's Hall specifically. Let's see. It can be as large as 5 feet long and 3 feet across.
I'll be right back. So
The 750-pound capacity.
So 5 feet long,
Not coming through Dakota.
3 feet across, 750 pounds. So yeah, like 4
Yeah,
like 4 people or 1 rose from Titanic.
it could house
Appreciate that reference.
you could house 1 rose, or
There's no room, Jack. You have to die.
yeah, I would say
If I had a nickel
based on weight.
for every time I've heard that.
Yeah, based on weight, I'd say you could probably get Grumman, Vespia, Gent, Sen, and Ithram's abs are a little too bulky, I think.
Wow.
To add to the
Say Ithram and Skuz might have to fly on a disc.
No, Ithram has to be in the boat.
Oh,
Or it
okay.
has to be in the Porter's Hall. Otherwise, we'll just be sitting there.
I mean, you use telekinesis to push it along if you want it.
Okay,
That
all
only
right,
lasts
all right.
10
Hold on. Let me get some papers. So we've got a wolf, a chicken, and some grain.
You've got
Gent will jump on a disc with Skuz.
Yeah. So whoever
you've got
doesn't-
abs and a gun and a whip.
however many people. So we have what? 4 people in the Hoarder's Hall.
Yeah, 4 people.
4 people. Okay.
2 people on a disc. I can hop off of
the
the
disc is-
broom of
the disc-
flying.
The
and have-
this can hold 500.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's sized for 1 person.
Oh, that's fair.
Which is why Gent was going to have Skuz on his
stack 'em up,
shoulders.
y'all.
Yeah, yeah, because it's 3 feet in diameter. It's like
Yeah.
That's all right.
1 person can stand on it.
And then if I hop off of the broom, then another person can't get on that. I think we can get everyone that way.
I mean,
So-
we can get everyone without you having to hop off the broom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, just boom. 2. He pulls out a little vial of mercury. Just tips it over twice, and it just hits nothing, and then spreads out into an arcane sigil, and kind of levitates about 4 feet off the
Pretty.
Yep,
ground.
and that'll keep whoever's on them at the 20-foot away mark, basically, from Ithram.
Oh,
I like the idea that the drop of mercury hits and just spreads on midair like you're fucking Magneto or something.
It turns the classic red arcane energy though, like it hits and then just like ripples out into the red energy.
Dope.
But yes, the Magneto reference, yes.
I know there was discussion of a short rest. Did you all actually take one or not?
Not
No.
yet.
Okay.
All right, let's get
Probably
going on
should.
horror movie Jungle Cruise.
Is there a reason we're not taking one before we do this?
Yes, everybody ignored the suggestion.
I mean,
All right. Before we go, then.
Thank you.
Grumman says, I'm just saying, before we paddle our new canoes into unknown flesh waters, maybe want to just take a wee break? Everyone just refresh themselves a bit, making sure that whatever sort of, undersea galactic horror that may be waiting down this particular flesh hallway, we're a little bit more prepared for it.
For once, Grumman and I agree on something.
See, growth under the sea.
So obviously you should ignore the suggestion because Grumman didn't
And
isn't agreeing on it.
We disagree again.
No, it's a pun, you see, because of all this growth. He points to the flesh
Yes.
hallway.
I understand puns. You
See?
silly dwarf.
So in sync. Look,
All right. I have no objection.
None as well.
Yeah.
And towards the end of it, I'll be able to begin the rituals to actually cast tensors because he doesn't have that prepared. He just has the ritual.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
good. Well, I'll get us we fire going and make some tea and a few snacks and
Do you have
as
smokeless
a
fire?
reminder, really quick, you are standing on a single file staircase.
Right.
perhaps back at the top and then make our way back down where there is more room.
It's Tanya over here still decaying a door.
But yes, probably advisable to retreat back to the room where we originally took shelter if we're going to rest. And Drummond, if you're going to light a fire indoors, please tell me you've got some sort of situational accoutrement that will handle the whole open flame indoors, largely airtight roof, that sort of thing.
I will be honest. I don't know why I'm picturing Grumman having like a little cooking lantern, because I don't see it on my item list, but I thought for sure I had one.
fantasy version of a camp stove.
Yeah, basically.
Mhm.
Pain.
I mean, you have a lantern. You could probably just use, just makeshift something.
Yeah.
Pop the top off.
Or keep the top on. It's
Seeker's
metal.
Tool. Can I try to slap something together?
So, first of all, you all retreat back up the stairs, I'm assuming. Back up
Yes.
to that fifth
Yeah.
floor room. All right. The stairs do go further up, you do notice. But if you look directly up, you see that there's a giant eyeball just sort of staring down at you from the roof.
Hello. Does it look like the Marut's eyeball?
No.
Oh.
No, this one, it looks, it is brown. It has a brown iris, black eye, like really, really prominent veins. Though the veins are the same color. The veins are the same color as the sort of like the dark purplish like flesh. And actually, it's not really a full eye because it's like just a semicircle and it just melds into the flesh.
So it doesn't like have a lid blink,
No
really
lid.
big eyelashes. Eh?
No
Right,
lid.
Is there flesh on the ceiling?
Yes.
Okay. I mean,
That's-
Grumman still says hello.
That's it. Yeah, that's in the tower well. If you step back into the room, it's not there. You can't see it. But
Mhm.
Oh,
Roman,
good.
it's probably not best not to talk to the dying god.
Vespia just waves at it.
I don't think
Gent walks into the room and starts looking
The
around
eye
for like a
pulses.
teacher's pointer, one of those, something long and
No.
thin.
No.
yeah, you find like a little wooden
Right, yeah. Mhm.
like an instructional pointer.
Again,
Right, yeah,
do not
exactly. Not saying
poke
it-
the wannabe god.
About how long is it? Like 2.5 feet, 3 feet?
It's about a meter. Yeah, 3 feet.
Yeah, right. Mhm. He'll just lean that up by the side of the door, just in case.
There's you're not at the top of the tower. You're at like the just over the halfway point. Like the eyes way
Right.
further up.
But Gent views the entire world as a game of rock, paper, scissors.
I'm not saying it always helps.
And,
but
if you're confronted with a large eye, the best you can provide is a poke with a sharp stick.
Craig, you're saying
I'm not saying it always helps, but there have been very few instances throughout my life where at least a clear, straightforward greeting has been a hindrance.
talking to the dead god is probably one of them.
On one hand, I hear what you, and you still look like Sin, right?
Correct.
On one hand, I hear what you're saying, but on the other hand, aren't you the one who's made a new friend while we've been here?
That was not by choice.
Oh, are we friends
Look, if-
now? In your
No,
head.
we're not. No, we're not. Look, if you want to talk to the god and die, be my guest.
I mean, it's already looking at
I'm
us.
done.
Do you think
You
it's
can
going to
keep
take-
talking, but Sin walks away.
It's already looking at us. Grumman just sort of starts saying that to Sin. As Sin walks away, Grumman turns and addresses the rest of the sentence to the others. Do we really think that by ignoring it, it's not going to just keep staring at us with that bloody great eye in the ceiling?
Gent simply reaches out, closes the door, click. Problem solved, largely. At least on our side.
And there's no flesh in here?
Nope.
There's
I don't think so.
there's
right?
there's none. Yeah, there's none present in this room. There's a large tooth hanging just outside the window, just off to one side. But like that's in this room. You could convince yourself that nothing's wrong.
Was there a balcony
No,
for this?
there might have been at one point, but not anymore.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering because I never dropped concentration. So if the window is big enough for a large creature, then the dragon is also in here.
It's just like
Excellent.
otherwise, it was just going to be chilling on the balcony.
like I just like the idea that there's just enough room for it, so it's just
Okay.
And a Pooh Beared up in a corner.
yeah,
Mhm.
Pooh Beard up to the window. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, short rest.
Take a short rest. You don't have to make a check, Craig. You can make some sort of like using the light. You take the top off the lantern, but light the candle or light the candle and then like put a little pot on top of it, and you can heat it up to a degree. It's not gonna be the best way to make a campfire, but better than lighting the floor on fire.
Yeah, I'll just try to make something warming to drink and pass that out.
Right. So you all take a short rest. An hour passes. Anything you're doing in that hour?
Spending hit dice.
Yeah.
Gambling your life away.
Oh God! All right, I've got my key back. I feel way better about this.
Gen's gonna go sit down next to Titania.
She's not. She went to go find Sin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not a very large room. It's
Yeah, no, I
Right.
figured.
Okay. Yeah. No. If Titania's going after Sin, Gent
yeah.
will hold off.
Uh-huh.
Sin is just off in the farthest corner they could find,
Uh-huh.
just relaxing, focusing.
I'm listening to the sounds of the room. Titania's very on edge, does not like this. Do I hear like this thing moving at all? Has it seemed like she's trying to gauge if it's reacting to our presence, because that's what she's really kind of freaked out about.
like a perception check.
Okay. $18.
18. You do hear the occasional thum, thum of a pulse. It's not like a strong pulse or a consistent one, but you do hear that. And it's just enough that you can hear it, and sort of, if you're paying attention, you can feel the vibration in the floor.
Okay.
And alongside that, as you're sort of focusing in on sounds that you can hear, there is this. The best way to describe it is if somebody was fiddling with a wet paper bag, but slowly, trying to not make a lot of noise, but in such a manner that it makes a lot of noise. There's just this wet sound of something stretching and contorting and.
Yeah, but it does not seem like it has like changed directions or has gotten louder, different.
This sounds like it's just the ambient sound of this area at the moment.
Okay.
But you can make out those sounds. You don't really know what that sound means because it's so ever present. You don't know if that means that it is moving or if it's just growing natively or what actually is going on here. Make a medicine check.
I'm bad at those. Let's see. 7.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you're trying to piece together what that sound might mean, and it doesn't really mean much to you at the moment.
Okay. I think that's how he gets his stress out. To Sin, and like not super loud, so probably the rest. I don't know if the rest of you are like paying attention or can hear it, but not super loud. Yeah. You do yours differently. I don't know if I'll be able to like tell if you're not being like yourself.
Interesting.
I'll try. So
Thank you.
I don't know that well. You kind of, like keep.
Yes, I do recognize the irony here. It is what it is. I guess you'll just have to err on the side of caution. What caution, I leave that up to you. Just keep in mind erring too safely on my side could be bad.
Do you know in what way?
No.
Okay.
But Yes, I don't, but not good. So, as regards that other situation, you might not be wrong, but there are less potentially lethal to everybody ways to relieve stress.
Hmm. Is that lethal because of what he's doing? She points over where tea is happening.
No, not now. Not now.
Or is it because of your reaction to it?
I don't follow. No, I'm not going to kill everybody. At least not currently. If nothing else, at least believe that I need you all to get through this.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. Otherwise, you wouldn't still be here.
You're not wrong. Well, anyways, no, listen, look, I don't, believe it or not, I don't want anybody here to die. I just can no longer risk any individual, including myself, for the sake of everything else. And my tolerance for bullshit is gone because of that. Once the universe is safe, we can all go back to happy bullshit.
Maybe the happy bullshit is how we got this far. Because I've been with this group for, longer than you have. And the bullshit is kind of our trademark. We had like a matching cloak thing happening and everything for ages. Grumman's new too.
Yes.
But
we've both known Grummond exactly as long as each other.
No.
Look. That kind of thing is great up to a certain point, or I guess I should say it's tolerable to me up to a certain point. When there's no longer margin for error, we're past that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe right now, there is no margin for error for what we're doing. That's my concern. I'm not going to do anything like I did before.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about that. I simply think my point has been made. There is no way I can make it any clearer. And so I will throw out warnings from time to time, but if people want to go off and do something that gets them killed, I'm not going to stop them anymore. That's all it is.
Okay. And she's just gonna keep sitting there.
Cool. Yep.
All right, Gint, do you go sit over next to Tanya?
Well, if you she's just sitting there like staring into space.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, if you indicate that you want to talk to her, she'll go over.
I think he would actually go over to sit next to her
Okay.
rather than trying to pull her away.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing all right with this?
Yeah. This is just. I don't like this place.
Is that because of the place or the thing?
Both.
Definitely one of the stranger environs that we've ended up in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the most uncomfortable. That was probably, I'd probably rank that at the, when we were on the negative plane, those were pretty bad. This is not as uncomfortable as that. It's just, I can hear it.
I won't let that happen to me.
How?
Preparation, contingencies, and you know me, an unswerving adherence to the principles of science and magic both.
It still might. There are a lot of possibilities out there.
There are.
I don't think it's likely, but it's one of them.
And if it comes to that, where there is an unavoidable level of risk, that the three of us together consider, that any of the three of us consider untenable. I won't. All right?
Okay.
That being said, I am bound and determined to get you your city back.
Hour.
More yours than mine, but still partly mine, yes.
She'll lean her head against his shoulder.
He'll just sort of relax there a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Anything else from anyone else?
Vespia would like to go sit next to Ithram. We'll talk. And we talk about this plan where you have to go with it.
Less a plan and more of a requirement of the spell. It is myself and the target. I am not a fan either, but it is an option.
Don't like it being an option.
I have to go by myself if we do choose it. I have the capabilities to return as well, at least to the material.
Have you tried something like this before?
Oh no.
That's very reassuring.
He leans in and he goes, "This would be the scariest fucking thing I've ever done, and I've died."
Can we keep this as a last resort?
I hope. But yes.
I really don't want you doing this.
But I have new battle maps for hell.
No.
Sorry, for some reason my hands are tied by cosmic strings. No. Yes, it seemed as if it may be an option to, rather than all of us expend our efforts, our energies to get a fraction of the way across, minutes at a time. If this loophole would work, it could make this whole area easier to traverse. Once I voiced it, I realized there may present another problem, but
What other problem?
this is the failed attempt, but it is still somewhat, it is unfocused and in pain, but it is still has the strength of a celestial being. If there is a place where such power could be harnessed in a malevolent way, no matter the time it takes to harness it, this would be literally dropping the weakest form of a god or demigod onto a silver platter. What that would look like, I have no idea. But
It's the fact you've never done this before. We don't know what to expect, and I really don't want you going into hell, especially by yourself.
Agreed.
I feel like there should be a better solution.
In a perfect world.
But this is not a perfect world.
Not yet, anyways.
I mean, yeah, I told that to the Phyrexians. They want to make it a perfect world in their own eyes.
Exactly. Alright. Only Galadier was dead. Oh wait.
I have a question. Your time at the library.
Yes.
Sorry, I may be mistaken. Were books like about individuals' lives? Were those like you could read through people's lives? Was that something that was in the Infinite Library, or am I just like adding something from
Well, the True Library.
multiple shows?
Yeah, True Library.
The what you're thinking of is in the Black Library, actually.
Oh, okay. But never mind.
Have like a biography of us.
Like
Yeah.
she,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
like
Black
she was
Archives,
able to
yeah.
read.
Mhm.
She was able to read about the party.
There are some in the True Library. There are some like historical books. Mostly they are in reference to magic. The True Library records magic, and sort of like when magic is created, a scroll of it or a book of it or something is created in the thing. So it would have been largely the information that you have on people is about people that make spells. So the reason that the reason that the party would be in the True Library is because Ithram has created some of his own spells, and so some of their exploits would be known through that.
Okay.
And there may be some additional like biographical information to provide context for the spells and such like that, but not.
Then
It's not strictly speaking a whole lot of biography
Yeah. Then never mind.
Like, you could read about, just as an example, if there's a spell that has somebody's name attached to it, you can read about them in the. You can probably find a biography associated to them in the True Library. But not just random.
Okay. Never mind. Yeah. Kind of grabs your hand, but no worries, absolute last resort.
Like we're all about to die at last resort.
That would be absolute last resort, yes. If that thing starts attacking us all, and we are all about to die, or most of us are, I will attempt to make it back.
You will make it back.
I will.
All right.
Just might not be him in the flesh.
And she'll
Not
just
in that flesh.
she'll just sit with him and rest her head on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a romantic subplot between Grummond and Sin, or is everyone done for
Yeah, Grumman's gonna run over and just set his head on Sin's shoulder.
Are you,
I want to see this.
Are you implying that there isn't one already?
Yes. Yes, I am implying that.
Valdez just sitting by the campfire, sharpening a sword that has thus far not done a lot since we got here.
Okay, it does a lot of other places. So your long rest complete.
Worked.
Sorry, short rest. Yeah, your short rest completes. An hour passes. All right, I'm so used to
short
saying you're
rest.
long. You really don't take a lot of short rests, so I'm not used to it.
Yep. Well, Sin and I are back up to full fighting capacity.
Yep.
Several of you
Congrats.
have rolled hit dice.
Valdez hasn't really
Uh,
left full fighting capacity. Unfortunately, the effectiveness of that capacity is sort of mitigated right now.
So when I loaded up D&D Beyond, whatever hit points I was missing got refilled.
Yep, it does that.
Yeah.
I had to toggle that thing off.
Yeah,
My
you
I
toggle-
thought
my
I
connection.
I thought I did.
You should.
My condolences.
Yeah.
So you were pretty low, if I recall.
No, I only got hit the once. I think
did-
I
oh,
took
that's right,
50.
right.
I think I took 50 something hit points. I think I was
Drop
at
your hit points by 50 and then roll hit dice.
170. Yeah, we'll just say 58.
I will arbitrate.
Oh.
The hand of God
we've
reaches
only
down
had-
and just flicks you in the forehead for 50 points of damage.
I'm fine. Oh no, I'm not. We only had the one long rest after the Coachella fight.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So I still do only have half my hit dice.
Yeah, there should be several of you that are
Yup.
injured because of the door incident.
Feast or famine.
I was gonna say,
Jesus.
still hitting those averages.
8, 13, 8, 13, 8. So your long rest is passed.
Short rest.
Short rest. Fuck.
Same to me.
Your short rest is passed.
That's what I needed.
And you proceed back to the stairwell.
Yep. Troop back downstairs and set up the arcane train.
Mm-hmm.
2 more
Choo
things.
choo.
About the hall. At this point, the door has been completely degraded away. And you can see that the hallway in front of you is not fully writhing in flesh, but definitely has some amount of it in there. And at this point, is the first time you start to see smaller bones. There are definitely, it's like sort of embedded in the flesh wall, a couple of skeletons that look. Obviously, you couldn't tell what their facial expression would have been at the time, but their like physicality shows an amount of like surprise in the way that they are sort of like blammed into the wall. Yeah, there's like sort of arms are up and out, and not anywhere near where like weapons would have been held or anything like that.
Skeletal storytelling.
Yeah.
There's like 4 of them in a row into the evolution of man kind of diagram, you know, right?
That's great. That's for them all. You also see one large eye. This one has more of a housing to it than the one that was on top, in the hallway that sort of rotates to look over at you as you begin your way into the hallway. And it's sort of, it's almost like, it doesn't have an eyelid, but you imagine that if it was, the eyelid would be rapidly blinking just based on the amount of flexing and twitching that the meat around it is doing.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's super reassuring. Very, very calming kind of tableau.
How large is the eyeball?
It's about the size of Ghent.
Okay.
In diameter, yeah.
I want to do something
Height.
funny, but I also don't want to provoke. But it's not really provoking.
Those of you that have listened to the Magnus archives, I am feeling that in my soul as well.
Don't get the joke.
Ceaseless watcher, turn your gaze on this recipe.
Motherfucker!
You slowly, because of Titania's 30-foot movement speed on the broom, hover into the hallway. The hallway that you're in here seems to connect to a couple of different sort of like corridors that chain together. There's no real signage, or at least none that you can see, that has survived the infestation. But you can tell that this seems to be in some sort of classroom area. There are a few doors that are ajar, and inside you can see tables, desks, chairs that have been sort of swept up in the flesh ocean. Flesh ocean for short. That are sort of stuck at odd angles, as if they've just been sort of haphazardly thrown around. You start to see more defined body parts in this flesh construction as well. As in one of the one of the classrooms that you see, there's just like sort of just a resting tongue. Where you normally you would imagine the teacher's desk area or the blackboard would be. There's just a tongue just hanging out of the wall, falling a little bit down. It's about the size of a standard-sized carpet for a room this size, kind of thing.
Anyone else get the feeling that we're headed down the digestive tract?
As long as we stay out of that room, we'll probably be all right. Any Sid ones see anything that looks like archives?
No, not yet.
Keeping an eye out.
Anyone who wants to can make either a survival check or an insight check to see if you can ascertain the layout of this university, based on where you're seeing these classrooms are.
28.
29.
Nice.
31, motherfuckers!
Hey!
18.
We're a bunch of architectural savants.
But Grumman, you haven't been to school. No, but I have a bar and I talk to a lot of students.
All right. So yeah, no, all of you except for Vespia are very well versed in standardized layouts. So
I feel like that makes sense for Vespia, because Vespia's like, but there's only 3 dimensions here. How are you supposed to find your class?
It seems like the first floor seems to be classrooms, and the towers seem to be devoted to specific studies. So you're probably in the alchemy section. Likely what you'd be looking for, you all surmise, is if you're looking for the archives, you're probably looking for the library, wherever their research materials are kept, which is going to be near to their higher level intensive studies, so things like alchemy. So if you're looking for a library access, it's probably somewhere near these classrooms. Based on the hallway design that you've got, there are a few different ways you could go. You could try to go straight into the center of the university and sort of find like the central grounds or the commons or something like that, and see if you can navigate from there. You could try to see if you could cut through any of the classroom structure. If there maybe are any connecting corridors or new corridors that might have opened up, to see if there's anything that leads you directly to the archives. Or you could try to go outside and come at it from around, because university structures are not always the same structure, and you might be able to better spot it from outside.
Not a huge fan of the outside option.
No.
It doesn't seem the wisest course.
Other than I'll make it down here. Sorry, I had to.
I think just going toward the center is probably down there, right? And kind of this thing seems to be getting bigger and like worse the further down the tower we got. Maybe it like pools down in the center area. We can kind of like, I don't know.
Don't like that descriptive term.
Me either, but here we are.
Aye, fair enough.
Thicker the farther down we go.
Thicker towards the base, yes.
Why do I speak God?
I agree with Mark.
I didn't say anything about flesh canoes, but plus I feel like if we're going toward the center, the like hallways and stuff will get bigger and it won't feel as claustrophobic. That's just my feeling.
Well, I'm
I've got
available for having a look that direction then.
okay.
So heading towards more like central common area, trying to find.
Yes.
Sin, you've got strong feelings about things. What are your thoughts?
I have none currently because Jeremy had to focus on a work thing. So I have no idea what happened the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Gross descriptions.
Just trying to determine where they should be going.
Sen made something into a sexual reference, you'll be shocked to hear.
I didn't make it. It was said out loud, and I just capitalized on it.
You know what you did.
I never know what I do. It's all impulse.
Forgive him, Father.
So you head towards the central area. What you feel like should be the central area. Go ahead and give me you're floating. At this point, how long does Pass Without Trace last? Because you rested for an hour.
An hour. It's gone.
It's gone now. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Did you want to re-up it or just leave it?
I mean, an eyeball stared right at us. No, I'm not re-upping it. I'm saving that slot.
You know we're here for sure.
That's good. Go ahead and everyone give me everyone give me a survival check or a stealth check. Just to see something.
That's better.
1-1. Stealth.
No.
Oh, Val.
I'm not letting us hit that using an inspiration.
16.
Stealth or what?
Survival.
Stealth or survival. Nat 20 for 29.
Stealth it is.
Well, it was better than 8.
Nice.
There you go. Gent and Sin, ninjas extraordinaire now that Scuzz is in here.
Scuzz is really holding you back.
I was gonna say that sounds
No,
that sounds like
Scuzz is-
Scuzz is like sabotaging us so that he can
So that
get the
he can be the best.
he could be the
No,
best.
it sounds like it's just the curve. It's grading on a curve, and now
Yep. Scuzz isn't blowing the curve for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
now some
see.
of us look pretty decent now.
Trying to sneak, keep slipping. God damn it!
What always happens? Yeah, what always happens is they're always sneaking this well, and then Scuzz just walks up behind him and goes, "What are you doing?"
Very good Sky's voice there.
Are you sneaking, son?
So, we'll do this. Let's get to the mind. Get to the mind ways. You're all being fairly quiet and being fairly observant, so it's not a surprise when you see something wobbling down a corridor towards you. I say wobbling because it's not walking, it's sort of hovering and floating. This seems to be it's sort of odd to look at because it looks almost like just a ununiform ball almost. It's this large white lumpy sphere that is just floating through the hallway towards you. Largely featureless. It doesn't seem to particularly react to your presence, but it does take up most of the hallway as it is coming towards you.
What color is it?
White.
Did you say? Okay. Is it opaque or?
Yeah, it's opaque. This is large, opaque, like bumpy, lumpy sphere.
Do you want to say hi to it, Grumman?
Is it looking at me?
It doesn't have any eyes, as far as you can tell.
Yeah, then I'm okay.
It is coming
Just
towards
seems
you all.
polite not to greet something if it makes eye contact. That's all. That's Grumman's thing.
Can we just sort of lean against, just sort of go sideways against the wall and let it just go through the group?
Yeah, are there any side corridors that we
What
can
my
try and
31 stealth ass is doing right now.
right? Same.
You could duck out of the corridor that you're in right now. There are a couple of rooms that seem like they would have been classrooms at one point.
Does it look like a liquid? Does it look like a big does it look like milk in 0G?
Sort of.
Okay.
Very just evocative.
Yeah, if it's getting closer, Gen's gonna see if he can identify what this thing is.
Medicine check.
Yeah.
It's a leukocyte.
Medicine,
Yeah,
Not
I
arcane.
just had the same thought.
Nat 20, 23, baby.
medicine and not arcane.
You can make Arcana, or if you want, but medicine would be the primary one.
White blood cell. Here I come.
Look, I have a much better chance with arcane. Arcana.
Same.
Nice.
Ooh.
So it's basically a difference in what information you'd receive based on the roll.
Yeah.
Those of you that rolled well in Arcana, which is all of you that rolled Arcana,
Me.
you identify you're not sure what this is, but it is some sort of animate force, likely something that's animated by the will of the thing you're inside of. Gent, Grummond, and Titania. None of you are super well versed in medicine as a rule, but you do read the occasional medical journal, and there are theorized. It's theorized in certain medical communities that that the body has internal defenses that operate on a level too small to be seen, that help defend against disease and plague and things like that. And they, using magic, they've been able to sort of image some of these things in a way that sort of reveals, that has revealed them, or what they should look like, anyways. And this looks really close to what you've read once as some sort of white blood cell, I believe was the terminology that has been used previously. It's sort of like floating towards you. And given the scale of the body that you're inside of, sort of makes sense that it would be this large.
Giant armadillos would be much, much more practical. Just saying.
You're not wrong.
I think it might. I think it's like just patrolling. We should get away. I don't want to touch it.
It's
I've
not
read
really-
about one of those.
It's not really a hostile spell. It's more of like a moving spell. Ithram is gonna blast over the telepathic link. That he could try to vortex warp it to the other side so that it continues its travel as far as it is concerned, possibly without issue through.
I feel like that's just going to set it off.
I could heal it.
I feel like that would
it
also.
does-
I feel like any interaction with it will just set it off.
Agreed.
It seems like anything. It's
Well-
looking for things out of the way or out of place here.
Well,
just-
we may be able to, in the hoarders, may be able to get out of the way, but those on the discs stay 20 feet away from me. They do not move. I cannot will them one way or another into an alcove out of the way. So it's
Oh.
either we try it, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, we're going to run into it anyways.
Try it.
Sounds
think.
good. Yeah, try it.
Okay, so once it gets within, let me double check the range. Vortex warp, 90 feet. So yeah, basically, once it gets within range, just like blip it to the other side, as if like no, so that it,
Yeah. Yeah, so you wait, because it's a 30-foot movement, isn't it, for the vortex?
let's see.
Your range is a certain feet, but the movement is only 30.
No,
Oh, is it not?
no,
Oh,
it
so-
just
so-
would, yeah, 90 feet either way.
So yeah, so you wait until it's at a good spot, and then you cast your spell, and it vanishes and
I mean-
reappears to the other side of Ghent and Skuz.
So it does need to make a Constitution saving throw. The only reason the party members don't is because they can willingly fail it. So it's up to you whether
Let me see what its
DC
con
is
save
19.
is.
It's up to you whether it willingly chooses to fail a thing that it's not aware of.
I mean, if it's
Yeah.
not aware of it, I don't think it can choose to fail it. I think it has to. It has to do
yeah,
the
that's
thing.
that's fair.
Constitution saving throw, you say?
Yep, 19.
Rolled a natural 1, so it fails.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yay.
it vanishes and reappears on the other side. Continues to float on its way.
I think that worked.
So as well.
Let's not push our luck with it and keep moving.
Just who's on the rear?
I think Gent and Skuz are on the disc and therefore in the back.
Well, it's two. I did 2 discs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Ghent would probably be in the back
two
then.
discs, one for Ghent and one for Skuz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think Dakota was asking who's on the back disc of those 2 discs.
Okay.
We'll say Gent is. Yeah.
Okay. It's still advised keep an eye out behind us.
The visor turns to look at you. There's a thumbs up, and the visor goes right back to it.
You look back at it again, and you actually watch as it gets close to that bulging eye. The eye just into the wall as it passes, and then pops back out and turns to keep staring at you.
In response to being touched by it, or
No,
in
just like
advance of
to
being
get
touched
out of
by
the way of it, basically.
Right, proximity.
Because they can't both. They're both large enough that they would block each other in the hallway.
Yeah, I guess just making sure that the eye isn't hiding from the leukocyte. Or
Doesn't look like it is.
okay,
Looks like he's just getting out of the way.
okay.
I think I'll name the leukocyte Phil. And since, he's not aggressive right now, he's neutro Phil.
You don't want to just call it Luca?
I'm making a different biology joke. You do your.
I mean, I guess it's not on the second floor.
You continue on through the hallway. Eventually, you find yourself at a much more open space. This seems to be some sort of indoor gathering, meeting, hall of some kind. It's hard to tell, again, too much flesh. You do see more of those sort of white globular things roaming about. They all seem to be on various set paths. They don't seem to ever intersect with one another, but they also don't seem to deviate. And you're sort of watching them go. In the center of this large hole, there is just what can only be described as an orifice, just this large hole in the middle of the ground that has sort of like looks like it's got like a fleshy iris, like a valve of some kind, just sort of currently closed. Ringing it, there is just a collection of teeth, as if it was a mouth, but it obviously doesn't look quite like a mouth.
So is it like a flap valve or more of a sphincter?
I don't know what the proper name of the structure that I'm thinking of would be, but I'm thinking it's more like whatever a heart valve is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A bivalve.
Well,
no, that's a clam.
Yes. I mean, yes, this is true.
Heart has more than two valves. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, that's like a flap.
Okay, yeah. So
It can only open in one direction. The other,
right,
if anything,
correct.
rest.
Yeah.
Okay. Which way does it open? Does it open down?
Down.
Okay.
It's sort of down. You do see that there are a few more. Like in this room, there are a few more like sacks of flesh hanging from the ceiling, connected at multiple different points that are just sort of undulating in the air. And yeah, nothing much else. There are a few connecting corridors that you can see. It looks like you can go the four cardinal directions: north, south, east, west. You just came from the west.
Who thinks we have to go down into the toothy maw situation? I raised my hand.
Can't say I'm surprised.
There was a question, I think. I think that was Tanya asking who thinks that,
Yeah,
and then
who
offering her
thinks?
hand.
Oh.
I don't know.
Can Gent try and get an idea of what he thinks this room originally was?
Sure. Give me a insight check.
Yeah, what's your gut instinct?
Fuck you. 17.
17. Originally, based on the size, definitely some sort of communal access area. You imagine this might have been a dining hall or just a common area. One of the two.
Gotcha.
If it wasn't, it is now.
Yeah.
The archives are, as far as we know, down.
All right.
That is, of course, assuming there's anything to find down here that hasn't been covered in this. indicating to everything around us.
I'm not saying we shouldn't check them out, but I am saying we have to prepare ourselves for the very real possibility that we go down and just find that absolutely everything is just muck deep in Moribund the god.
Yeah. And even when we found like paper here before, it's not in good shape, right? Do we keep going?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this looks, it just sort of points at the tissue on the wall, fairly terrible for preservation.
You would be correct.
Scrolls and the like imbued with magic are a bit more durable than common papers and vellums. As I am loath to point out.
Look, I'm not feeling any better about going into the toothy asshole than any of the rest of you are. So please don't feel like you have to hold back on my account. If we've decided that this expedition has run its course and we need to go back to trying to access our way safely to the temple district, by all means, I'm not going to oppose.
All I'm saying is it could be fairly dangerous, and
what isn't dangerous though that we're doing right now?
But maybe I should go down ahead and scout it out. And if I don't come back, well, I've had a rich full life, and the rest of you are the ones who are going to have.
No, I mean physically. How? You don't have a method of propelling yourself.
I assume one of you fancy pants can cast something on me that would let me fly.
For a time, you would not be quite yourself, though.
You got polymorphs, not flies, apparently.
I mean,
yeah,
you could have flies. Giant fly is an option for polymorph.
I can cast fly.
Does fly let you move your walk speed?
Yep, so 60 feet actually.
Oh, okay.
Flying speed is 60 feet, 10 minutes.
Grevin just kind of shrugs and looks around.
You think we could 5 minutes down, 5 minutes up?
And I'm currently in the telepathic link, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, she's feel like talking out loud. There's not.
No, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I'd still be able to communicate when I was down there.
Yep.
The only problem with that, Valdez says, looking around, does this area seem like it's vaguely patrolled by those white blood cells?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
While we're waiting for you to do that, we're still trying to avoid this thing's internal defenses.
The one that followed us has passed already though, and they don't intersect. We can just wait out in the corridor. We can
They don't intersect with each other. They might still come back around and take that path. Though.
Yep. That's true too.
So there's also the opportunity of, while we sit here in a stationary place, we get converged on, perhaps, in this wide open area.
Well, it's a good thing you've got a very sharp blade that could probably do...
That has done jack shit to anything in this fucking god's body.
Well...
We don't need to take the whole 10 minutes. I mean, I could just go down and make certain, what's at the bottom and make certain I'm not going to get crunched up.
That is the secondary question, unless we discussed it while I was watching those routes. How do we get that valve open?
It might open if something approaches it, but it probably won't open for any of us because we're not of this body. It would probably open for one of the white things.
What is? Do we know what it's or have a good guess as to what its biological function is? I mean, is this part of the digestive system?
No clue.
Make a medicine check.
Yeah, I would like to, and I will express that out loud just to see if anybody more learned than Grummond has a better guess.
Who would like to make a medicine check?
I had 21.
Gent will see if he can determine anything. That's a 10. Gent is still determined that this is a rectum dentata.
Okay.
Rectum dentata.
11.
Completely different structure.
With the teeth inward rather than pointing up.
No,
That's not-
and it's not.
Gent's not good at medicine.
It's not a sphincter, it's a flap, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we know. No, it's the wrong type of valve. It's a whole thing. Right.
Yeah.
Grummond, you're not certain what it, Grummond at least. You're not.
No, absolutely.
You're not certain what it does. But you do recall. You recall another Bellmender who happened to pass away at far too early of an age. That when they sort of cut him open to figure out what it was, thinking that he had just drank himself to death, they actually learned that they discovered that there were unnecessary cells, like unnecessary bits of body that had been growing inside of it to like push out the healthy parts. They refer to it as sort of a cancerous growth. From what you're like sort of seeing, it seems almost like this body is growing like it's a cancer almost, where it's just randomly spewing things.
All right.
It's not.
Yeah.
You're not certain if there is a point necessarily to this thing. It's just there because it can be, or because that's what happened to win the roll of a dice when it was created, sort of thing, rather than for a purpose.
Okay.
If it was a living thing, this would probably be attributed to part of the reason why it dies. But since it's just sort of spreading out from a central point, presumably.
So it looks like some of this growth may simply be for growth's sake, and there might not be much in the way of plan or purpose to it. So there may not be anything beneath it. It may just be a right ugly little puckered maw. But so no sense in thinking that it should open or do anything in response to anything that a normal body would do.
Everything here seems to have grown over the things that were already here as well, though. So,
maybe a staircase.
Yeah, see if we can find what would be the way down normally.
Still, is it closed? Or the teeth closed?
I mean, the teeth are around it in a circle. The flap itself is closed. Yes.
Is it worth just giving it a tickle?
Touching this thing has been the thing that sets it off every time.
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, attacking it has been the thing that set it off.
If summons a mage hand about 10 feet away, do we find out? How far away is this?
If you're still at the edge, you're about 30 feet away from it.
The range of mage hand.
Shockingly, I am on board with this idea.
Let's see what happens.
It's ready to run.
This is white gloved hands.
Gauntleted. He's the war mage.
Fucking
I was gonna say
No,
the mage hand comes up, and then there's a snap of the glove.
No.
2x2
But
hands
yeah.
of blue.
Tell the Moribund god to bend over and cough.
Yeah, turn your head. Now give us a quote.
Okay, anyways. So
What?
floats over the valve.
Send!
Floats over the valve. Any reaction to just something being in proximity to
Nope.
it?
Mhm.
All right, lowers down. I don't know how to say this so that you don't make an inappropriate comment.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
It's like a
I was gonna
door.
say,
You're
that
gonna try and
he'll
open
do
a
it
door.
whether
It's a
he-
swinging
Yes.
door situation.
If
Yes.
there's,
Ship
if there's
is
any
sailing.
hesitation, Grumman just goes, give it a tickle then.
No. So yeah,
Thank you.
just
You're slapping the flap.
no. Specifically, not gonna do that.
Hi.
Just press down.
No one said that.
Like I said, it doesn't matter if you try to find a way.
Mm-hmm.
He'll do it anyways.
Look, I have a lot of creative
Palm-
energy in my brain, and
palm
it's
down
focused on
like
one
this.
thing.
Just
it's terrible.
Slow.
All right, so yes, you descend upon the flap with your hand, with your mage hand, and rests on it. Nothing
Press
seems to
down.
happen. You can't exert a lot of force with mage hand, but what little you can exert doesn't seem to do anything.
I can manipulate an object. Can I grab one of the edges and try to pull it up? Gently.
It doesn't seem like you got enough force with the mage hand to do anything with it.
Give it a tickle.
It's really insistent that you tickle it.
Just right.
Think about
Just
it like,
right around the
like one of
edge.
your kids is just eating something that they haven't. You have to make them throw it up.
I don't have children, but okay. And
It's good practice.
he just tries to. He'll attempt to tickle it with mage hand.
Tickle the flap. Nothing seems to happen.
Well, I'm out of ideas.
Instantly, I love that.
I had Grumman had one idea.
I was real insistent on it.
He's like, let's just treat it like a small child that just swallowed a Lego. All right, no, didn't work too bad. Let's go home.
Let's see if we can find the actual way down.
There's an idea. Yes.
Let's
Further
Guys,
ahead then.
Forgive me if I'm perhaps not as familiar with educational institutions, but I feel like the middle of a communal hall, whether it be for eating or just for meeting, is not exactly where you would put a random hole that drops down into the archives.
Wizards. We're different.
One way to refer to it.
All right, well, for now then, let's leave Chekhov's dentata.
God.
I have no regrets.
So, the other hallways that are connected to this room go north, south, or east.
Does the map
one?
include a layout of the university? Because it told
No.
me told me that there were archives down here.
Yeah, no, it doesn't include a full layout. No. It looks like it primarily includes like it's like structure, like places where a specific structural need was done. So like for an archives below the university, they would have had to dig, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right, most.
South. That'd be south.
Let's give it a shot.
Slowly, carefully circle around the area, keeping an eye on the maw in the middle.
My favorite night sitcom.
You do see the one of those large bulbous things sort of float in towards it, and then as it gets above the flap opens and it drops down and then closes back up. And you head south. It doesn't take very long before you find yourself in what appears to be a greenhouse. There's a large glass ceiling. You can see bits and pieces of the glass that haven't been completely subsumed by flesh. There's plant life. There are trees. There are flowers. There are a variety of things in here. It seems fairly free of the growth that has been everywhere else. It's still present, but mostly on the exterior and not really within the greenery itself. Oddly.
Floor safe.
Yeah, there's no meat. There's no flesh. There's no meat on the floor.
Thank God. I land. Sort of touch a plant. I feel better already. Okay.
Is this like a
Touch
garden where
grass.
there's like just stone pathways and then individual planters, or
It's mostly grass. It looks like this is sort of a free growing area. There are pathways that have been sort of like built through it, but it seems like they followed naturally occurring paths rather than being pre-planned.
Then you just needed to touch grass. It's fine.
Yeah, give me to it.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of structure in here. It's mostly just wild growth. With the glassed dome above it. You all do smell. There's a particular smell in the area. That sort of like is the first thing that you all pick up though on. It's sort of like it's like a sort of a soft lavender smell. Is the primary thing you sort of notice first.
Where's
So
that
what
coming
it was
from?
Growing that
So-
good shit.
Yeah. Where's that coming from? The smell?
It's just sort of ambient. It doesn't seem
Okay.
like it's coming from anything specific.
Can I identify the plants that are down here and stuff? Because this is like we've seen dead trees
Yeah.
in the previous like section.
I
but
mean,
these are the first living plants.
make a nature check.
These are all carnivorous plants.
14, they might be. It's very possible. Not a great roll, but
So you notice there's a lot of you start looking around with the 14 and 13 from Sin as well. The three of you that are looking, you notice there's a lot of sort of similar types of plants. This seems to be a large amount of things that are very efficient at producing oxygen. I'm not a botanist, so I'm not going to say specifically what plants they are, but all of these are the more of the plants like I know, like I believe like aloe vera is one of those where it's very, very particularly good at producing oxygen as opposed to just sort of casually producing it off to one side as a hobby. And there does seem to be a little bit of a magical enchantment in the area that is sort of basically enhancing their effectiveness. You imagine as you look around that this is probably one of several kinds of gardens like this that were used throughout the area to sort of keep a fresh air supply within the domes. This one, most of them that you've come across probably have been dead. This one seems to be being kept alive, most likely by the enchantments, most likely for education purposes.
okay, I have a weird question then.
Mhm.
If this is part of like the filtration system, is it connected to like air kind of like are there channels coming out of here?
You do see that there are additional like pipes and things, and like as you sort of take a look around in the ground and in the ground and along sort of the ground line, there are additional like channels of brass piping that seem to go underground.
Okay, another weird question. Because the air in here at least seems to be sort of like this area at least seems to be repelling the gross flesh stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The tunnel, like the ones going down, like ones that might be supplying air further down in the building, potentially in the archives, hopefully, maybe, are those free of guck?
Yes.
Of Hey.
They're not very large.
Okay. Are they big enough for a person?
No.
Damn it.
About how big are they?
Big enough for like a weasel.
Guess who has mass polymorph prepared?
Okay. This might be our way down. Maybe. I don't know what we'd be walking in or crawling into, but this is maybe faster than trying to find stairs and...
Are we... Do we have any idea of which one of these is the right pipe?
Again, I'm going to suggest we send one of us forward before we all go running offshore and really down pipes.
Yes, so that one of you can be eaten while the others are left in the dark.
That's literally what Grumman suggested. He has suggested he is the least valuable, so let him go get eaten.
All right.
Hang on. I'm gonna look at a thing real quick.
Are there a lot of tunnels going down, or is there only like one, or does it
All
seem
of
like
them
it
go down.
branches? All of them go down? Never mind. Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
If
Hang on a minute. You said it'll fit about the size of a weasel?
Yep.
No, wait.
Yep.
No, wait. Jeremy's about to say something he hates.
Then what is it?
we need to send someone down, I think I have a marginally better chance if something goes wrong of escaping out with my life than Grummond.
I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying if one of us is not going to make it back up, you're the one with the link to the being that's helping us, two beings that's helping us now.
It's an easily replaceable link.
I don't know
No,
that.
don't say that about yourself, Sin. You're irreplaceable.
You're a liar. I'm talking about Morath. I'm not talking about Galadir. And frankly,
We all can get hold of
the
Galadir.
connection, the connection to Galadir is not helping in this case. Anyone other than, well, that's not true. I get my spells and the like, but in terms of the meta aspect of this, it's helping Galadir. It's not helping us in this particular moment.
Here's the thing, though. Any one of us that gets transformed into something that goes down one of those pipes is also going to have the psyche and perspectives. I know how the polymorphing spells work, with the exception of my wife.
Yep.
My wife.
So really, there's only one choice of person to explore these pipes, because any of the rest of you, myself included, wouldn't be able to adequately communicate what we're finding over the telepathic link.
Yep.
You have animal brain at that point.
You're not wrong. But there is a way to, we can still come back and communicate.
Potentially.
Do you remember what you were like as a canary?
Yes. I don't
All the
have to be
details in there?
just there are smarter birds out there.
Also,
so you chose. You made
Well,
that
chose the I chose the first thing that immediately came to mind in a crisis that would be able to pick up a member of the party and continue.
It was...
solid choice.
see, I would think of a dragon personally.
I
That's
can't
outside
go
the realm of
that
polymorph.
high. Believe
there's-
me, If I could switch to a dragon, I would become a dragon, go to a different plane, and say, fuck all of you.
Valdeth just idly fiddling with the brooch of many sizes.
Like there are what's more, should something happen, should death happen, and if there's some sort of weird, the god, you die by whatever, and it gains your, it absorbs you or something like that. I realize I'm thinking outside of the lines here a little bit, but it's not impossible. That won't be a concern for me.
I checked. I don't think the brooch would last long enough, unfortunately.
No.
It's just a spell. It's just a spell length of enlarge reduce, so which is just a minute.
Hang on.
What do you mean it won't be a concern for you?
Oh, well, if I die before Morath's deal is concluded, I end up with the choir and not going off where I go.
Please, they have a proper noun.
You want them to know everything.
Be respectful.
Choir sounds more elegant, though.
Yes, and they don't deserve it.
Well, regardless, at this moment, I don't remember what it is, so I don't care. Choir it is.
The 1,000 voices.
Yes, 1,000 voices. I will become 1,001, apparently.
Is that a good thing?
No, it's a terrible thing, but it is better for the group as a whole.
See, that's where I disagree with you, because not only is it a bad end for you, but if something happens to me, I've lived a rich, full life, and I'll go off and I'll be drinking forever in the halls of Marduk.
I cast divination, just in the background.
Yes.
I'm just gonna cast it. I'm not gonna ritual cast it. So
Okay.
there's just a spell slot. And I want to ask if one of us explores down there, will we find the archive? Basically, is there any, or will we find the information we want in the archive? Basically, is there any is this even worth pursuing?
Is there any
If we go
usable
back-
information down
Yeah.
there for us to find?
Exactly. Yes.
Yes. If the question is there any usable information down there for you to find, the answer is yes.
Okay. Right. Should I cast it again?
Look,
Yes.
you...
I cast it again.
Okay.
Then I have to do a
100.
first, yeah. So if it's high, so if it's 75 or above,
Okay, it fails.
it won't work.
Good thing you picked high.
Yep. And I'm going to ask if one of us goes. Sorry, I did it again. If one of us goes down there alone, like we're talking about.
Will it be safe or they're gonna die?
Yeah.
What? So, get a specific question: if
If-
someone goes down, if someone explores alone, will they die?
Yep.
You still get the idea that it's not a firm yes, but it's definitely like it's more likely you'll die if you're by yourself.
Okay. How more likely? Do I have any sense of that? Is it like
you don't get any like percentage values or anything like that. It's not like a 75-25 that little deal.
okay?
What? They're not giving us an over/under on this?
No.
Yeah. It's sort of,
They're the wrong gods.
okay.
That's
Well,
why
if you want-
contact other
If you want
plane
gambling,
is the
if you want
superior
gambling
spell.
odds, if you want gambling odds, you should ask Lyrithia.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for calling the gambling hotline.
Look, you bakery-obsessed buffoon. If you go down there, when it's an equal chance of all of us, and you die, then somebody has to explain it to. It's not a good idea.
You do have a very large family, Grumman.
I know. And there. Wait. Sin, are you worried about my family?
No, I'm worried about the inconvenience of having to deal with messy emotions.
Oh, all right. Well, you're not getting off the hook for that one, but
Turn into a weasel.
no, don't. This is like I feel like this one
In the background.
in the background.
Yeah.
I want to roll a perception roll.
Give me a stealth check versus their perception. I'll say advantage
Excellent.
because they're in the middle of
Okay.
talking.
Where's the
Question.
weasel?
I mean,
I think
Gen's
Valdeth's
been
literally
keeping an
standing.
eye on. Right, yeah.
Valdeth is standing next to Titania and is acting as a shield if she needs it.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about these weirdos.
Valdeth is being a shield for Titania if she needs it.
Right.
That's the whole point of retirement. When you retire, you say goodbye to your family.
That is
Not
not what
like that,
retirement is,
Grumman.
you moron.
That's what
Actually, it's exactly the opposite of that.
It's +5.
You get more time to spend with your family when you retire.
Not when you're from Swiggle.
I hate your entire culture right now.
No. But we'll always have.
Sorry.
We'll always have Coral Home, by which I mean it'll always be the place you admitted you're worried about the family.
I should be more specific. I don't hate your entire culture right now. I hate it always.
Said one of the preeminent investors. And,
Go.
and the ubiquitous.
I'm going to
Feywearer.
kill you. You understand that, right?
Go crawl up Valdeth's leg
So
up to her shoulder.
in response to I can kill you, you know this, right?
No, not I can.
I will. Was
No.
it?
I'm
will?
going
Goes right
to.
up to your cheek. Sort of.
Grumman
Whiskers.
just says, "So hug later then." Is what you said.
Valdeth walks over to the vent and just sort of kneels down next to it.
I climb in.
Okay. Give me a.
What if we hugged in the fleshy holes beneath Coral Home? Haha, just kidding. I'm glad.
Give me a D100 roll, Tanya.
Okay.
Do not forget, I can cast Finger of Death from this thing.
No.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
No, I can.
Tanya, you follow the pipe down as far as it can go.
Being as quiet as it can be.
Being as quiet as you can be. You eventually find yourself at sort of an exit. It looks like it exits into a bedroom of some kind. Relatively untouched as far as you can tell, as from the flesh. Seems like this might be a faculty bedroom or something that's more underground. Would also explain the privilege, the prioritization, I should say, of having the oxygen coming straight to your room.
Yeah.
There's nothing. The door's closed. Doesn't seem to be overgrown or anything like that. Seems like a fairly normal. Though, actually, sorry. Are you a creature that has dark vision right now?
No, but I mean, I do still have, like, as Titania, I have the like true sight and stuff. I think that would still apply for.
Yeah, okay,
this
we'll
form.
It's provided by a magic item, which you
We'll
can
say
still have.
you still have
Yeah.
you still have your true sight, which is okay. So yeah,
Mhm.
so yeah, you can see.
Yep.
So yeah, you see it seems fairly mundane almost, especially compared to the rest of the situation.
Okay. Does it look like it like has a door?
Yeah, there's a door.
Could I fit under the door?
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly. Would I be able to get back up here if I needed to? Is the question.
You need to wild shape into a bat to fly back up, but
Yeah.
You doubt you'd be able to climb back up the pipe.
Okay. And there were no like branching off from the one I went down. It's
Not
just
this
straight.
one, no.
You're a 20th level druid. You have unlimited wild shapes.
I know. I'm thinking though. I'll drop down and go look at the door.
Well,
At this point, I'll say those of you that are back up there that have been focusing on the argument and realize that Titania's not there anymore.
Grumman just says in response, I know, but think about it. The last time you cast a horrible spell, we had a great conversation. And also, if you try it again, I'll beat the ever-loving shite out of you.
Evil mind is so close to my fingers. Right? Wait. Where? She didn't.
Oh,
Valdez just grins.
Fine.
But murdered
Is
by
this when I don't have to
gone and done
explain
it
to any
again.
family members?
Which one should go down?
Let her be. She's the only one. I'll point this out to all of you. She's the only one that can pick a new form at will if she needs to change what kind of movement she can do.
No, you're right. I was.
I've not argued.
Gent
any
points
of
at two
this.
different pipes and says, "That one."
I appreciate that.
Over the telepathic link. Titonia, dear, you doing all right?
There's a faculty room, I think.
You go. You squeeze under the door while you're saying that, and you find yourself in a hallway. Seems relatively clear, completely untouched by the overgrowth.
Okay, I'm gonna like sit up a little, sniff, look around.
You still smell that lavender smell.
Okay.
Much less strong. It seems like the further you get away, obviously.
Okay.
But yeah, clear hallway. It looks like there's about 4 other doors in this hallway. That like on either side of it, and then a door on either end. So 6 doors total.
I'm gonna go toward the right.
Okay. So just the one immediately on the right, or down to the right down the hallway.
Going down the hall. I'm guessing that these are other like people's rooms. Basically,
Yeah.
I'm looking for the archives.
Okay. You go down the right. You duck underneath the door, and you find.
I am gonna like mark at my eye level
Mhm.
the door that I came out of, so I can find it.
You duck underneath the door, and you find yourself in a large circular room that seems to have a wide variety of books. There are also, you see magical runes that are glowing, and as soon as you crawl underneath the door, you're back in your human form.
Found it.
Or elf form, I should say.
Excellent.
And you can't wild shape.
While you're in this room. Yeah.
Is the telepathic link still going?
No.
Damn it.
Okay.
You walk
Well,
into
I
an
try
magic
and
field.
say that.
Yeah, you try to say
Found
that.
it.
There's no response.
The door behind me. Can I open it?
Ithram, you feel a disconnection in your spell.
I was gonna say, yeah, we sense it when a
Th-
telepathic
those-
bond. Wait.
You all wouldn't, but Ithram would.
Mm-hmm. As the caster.
Problem.
What's going on?
Titania is no longer linked.
Sonia, love, can you hear me? Earring. Sending.
Does do the rings still give a direction?
I was gonna say.
If everything just cut out, I'm willing to bet she's walking around the magic field.
Ithram, would you be?
Or
That is one
Which-
of about 13 possible explanations. This pipe points at it.
Which is not either of the two that he pointed out previously.
No, neither of the
Yeah.
two that I pointed out initially. Absolutely not.
All right.
I like the apparent assumption that Grumman was just gonna try to dive down a pipe, Mario style.
Excellent.
voiced by Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry, Kent, but your Elatrin is in another castle.
Tanya, while
Yeah.
while the chaos is ensuing above, Yeah, there are a series of arcane runes that have been carved into the floor and walls of this room. It's completely untouched by the growth above you. You do see a couple of ancient skeletons in robes that are just barely not dust.
Okay.
Just like strewn about the places. It looks like they sort of sat down in various locations and just, eventually fell asleep and died. And
Okay.
as you are looking around, and the others are mildly panicking, that's where we're going to end for this week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Eh.
Goodbye.